Hi, and welcome to Barbers on Lighting Company's YouTube channel, and thank you for watching. This is a companion video to our Zoomin Lumens with ETC and City Theatrical. If you've seen that already, fantastic. If you haven't, the link is going to be in the description. We're just here to talk a little bit more about the Series 3 LED fixtures from ETC, as well as the new Desire Fresnel. So for that, I will turn it over to Jim from ETC. Jim?
Thank you. I appreciate giving me the opportunity to talk about these products today. We're very excited about them. Hopefully, some of you joined us last week when we did our official launch for these products. If not, we'll do a quick overview of them today. I also just want to invite, if anybody's looking for a more in-depth demo of these, we have a studio space, the one I'm standing in now. We have them all over the world, actually, and we invite you to go to our website to be able to book a one-on-one demo. Somebody like myself will meet you here in the studio, and we can give you a really in-depth overview of these products if that's something that you or your facility is looking for. But today we just want to give you a little shorter, condensed version of that, just so you have an understanding of what it is that we have released in the last week and why we're so excited about it. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jim Uphoff. I'm the Entertainment Luminaires product manager for ETC in our marketing department. And so I am, these products fall under my purview. And so I'm really excited to share them with you today. We've been working on them for a long time. I'm going to start here in just a second with a couple of PowerPoint slides, because any good demo should have a PowerPoint. But then we'll spend some time in the studio here to take a look at these fixtures as well. So let me start really quickly with that, taking a look at just some of the pretty pictures that we have taken here. So hopefully you're familiar with Source 4 and Source 4 LED in general. Source 4 has been around since 1992. We have had the Source 4 LED since I believe the early 2010s. This was a fixture. The Source 4 LED was a fixture that was a generational advancement from the Celador product line that ETC acquired over a decade ago, and we've been continuing to research and develop new products using that Celador platform, which was based on a 7-color LED additive color mixing system, and that has been involved with the Desire product line, Source 4 LED, then Source 4 LED Series 2, which made really great advancements in not only color mixing but in brightness with the introduction of the Lime LED that we've seen the ripple effects of throughout the industry. There's Lime LEDs and all sorts of fixtures now that sort of all branched off of that initial development that we did with the Series 2. And it was a great jump from Series 1, which was really sort of a proof of concept product where we showed that we could take a high quality LED 7-color mix and put it into a profile fixture like the Source 4. And took it to the next level by adding a significant increase in brightness, and with that Lime LED, significant gains in color mixing potential. And we've sort of done that again. We don't want to just have iterative every year minor increases in brightness and things like that, and different versions of this fixture. We sort of wait until we hit a point where we can make substantial gains in features, in technologies, in color mixing and quality, things like that. And that's what we have here today with the Source 4 LED Series 3. If you have been following ETC's product launches, you may have seen that last year we launched a product series called Phosphor, which was a set of fixtures, panel lights, and then a Fresnel intended specifically for use on camera and in the studio environment. And you'll see a lot of similarities if you are familiar with those products. And so you may hear me say, if you saw this in Phosphor, it'll look familiar, that sort of thing. I'll probably say that a few times over the course of this discussion. But what we wanted to do is take a lot of the advancements that we had in the launch of that product line that we had spent time developing and put them into some live entertainment theatrical fixtures as well. And that's what we're going to be taking a look at here today. One of the big things that we talked about with that launch was the introduction of a new LED called the deep red LED. This wavelength, this deep red wavelength, is a really important step in the evolution of additive color mixing LED fixtures. And because the reason for that is similar to Lime that had this great advancement in brightness and color mixing, the deep red LED is slightly different, but has a similar impact in that it adds obviously gamut. So we have another LED. It's now an 8-color engine. The Lustr X8 system is one of the ones we'll be taking a look at today. Adding that 8th color, that deep red, to the system expands the gamut. We can get to colors we couldn't get to before, but more importantly, it's adding content, it's adding ingredients to your light that are really important. Traditional sources, incandescent tungsten sources that we as human beings are really accustomed to biologically, evolutionarily. All the light sources, fire, gaslight, incandescent tungsten lamps, all have a lot of this deep red content in them. We actually refer to this section of the spectrum as the tungsten tail. It's that last little bit of visible light before you fall off into the infrared that the human eye can see. So it's really important because it adds vibrancy, it adds natural, healthy looking content to the light. So when you render skin tones and costumes and set pieces, they look more natural, they look more healthy, they look more real when this wavelength is in there. And it's been missing in color mixing LED fixtures up until now. The red that we've been using, that everybody's been using, that 635 nanometer wavelength, is a great color. But when you compare it to the 660 nanometer wavelength of the deep red, you will see that the old red looks orange. It's not really a true red the way the deep red is. And so by putting these two ingredients together in our new Lustr X8 array, we have once again raised the bar for color quality and rendering and control in LED fixtures. And so I'm really excited to have people start using this in the theater because it makes really just the highest quality of light output available on the market today. So we've taken this deep red, we've incorporated it into a couple of new arrays. The first of which I mentioned before was the Lustr X8 array. This is the same array that we are using on the phosphor line. We're now putting this in the source 4 LED line. And one of the great things about this is that we've been able to do it without having to sacrifice brightness. Traditionally with this, and we saw that really with the first generation of source 4 LED, we went with quality of light over quantity of light. It was not a super bright fixture for its type, but it had really great quality of light. We're now getting to the point where we can have both. And this information will be available on our website and other places. But if you take a look, this is just a quick comparison with a number of different lens tubes, but showing the brightness comparison of the top line, which is a Series 3 engine, the middle line, which is a Series 2 engine with various gel colors selected here. And then the bottom line, which is incandescent lamps, 3 different incandescent lamps. The data is sort of stacked on top of each other. What you're looking at there is a 575, 120 volt 575 long life lamp, which is the most popular in North America, a 230 volt 750 lamp, which is the most popular in Europe, and then the bottom line there, the bottom part of that bottom line there, is a 120 volt 750 watt short life, which is the brightest HPL lamp available. So you can see, depending on the color, how saturated it is, that sort of thing, how it compares to some of these lamps. But in a lot of regards, we have now surpassed even the brightest HPL lamp for a lot of these colors. And that's a really exciting thing for designers as they go forward, having the ability to not only get the highest quality of light, but get a lot of it so that they can move these fixtures into all sorts of different positions in the venue. The second array that we have available is the Daylight HDR Array. This is a continuation of the Daylight HD Array from Series 2, which was a 4-color mix. We are now up to a 6-color mix. We've added that deep red, same as the luster that we were talking about for all the reasons we did before, because it really is an important component of white light and making high quality white light. As well as adding cyan, which is another ingredient that we found to be very important when you're dealing with especially the cooler color temperatures of white light. So those 2 arrays are both available in the Series 3 fixture, and again, they're both the highest quality of light you can get on the market. Now, with the development of the Series 3, unlike the jump from Series 1 to Series 2, where we reused the same mechanical design, we just changed the guts of the fixture for the improvements. In this case, we have actually redesigned the entire fixture, obviously using a lot of the things we've learned and a lot of the components that we know work well, but redesigning the casting, the user interface, the software, and in this case, the optical system. We've been very lucky that the optical system from the original Source 4 from 1992 has been, such a great design that we've been able to use it up until now with minor changes. We've obviously added some beam angles. We added the EDLT line of lens tubes, but for the most part, it's the same lens tubes we've had now for, coming up on 30 years. I want to say very clearly so that everybody's aware, you can continue to use all of those lens tubes and adapters on Series 3. They will fit, they will work, and they should be fine in a lot of cases. But we wanted certain improvements in brightness that we could not get from the traditional lensing system and optical system, especially in the narrow beam angles. And so I'm referring specifically to the 5, 10, 14, and 19 degree beam angles. If you use legacy lens tubes, you will find that you will not really see an improvement in brightness. In general, Series 3 is about 40% brighter than Series 2 when using XDLT lens tubes. And you will see that gain with the 26, 36, 50, and 70 degrees, but you will not see that gain in the 5 through 19 unless you're using the XDLT lenses. And that has to do with the barrel. The barrel, if you can imagine what a standard barrel looks like, it contracts down to a smaller diameter before as you go into the lens tube. And we were losing a lot of light with the LED array that we're using in Series 3, the types of LEDs that we're using to get the brightness that we want. And so we had to make the barrel larger diameter to get the light out on those narrower beam angles. And that's what this redesign is started with. But we also took the opportunity to redesign the mechanics of it. And I'll show you that when we come back into the studio here in just a second. The last thing that I want to talk about before we come back into the studio, first of all, just because I want to make sure we're very clear, you can use all the other adapters and lens tubes. That includes the Fresnel and Cyc adapters, that includes the zoom lenses, and then obviously all the fixed lenses of the various generations. I want to talk really quickly about multiverse, which we will be talking about in the other session that we're doing. But we've included, just as we did with the phosphor line, we've included multiverse, City Theatrical's multiverse protocol built into every Series 3 and every Desire Fresnel. We did that for a number of reasons. We want to put it out in the market. We want people to have it available to them when they need it and not be something they have to order separately. But we also saw the value of it as a technology as a whole because of the way that technology works. There's a lot of information about this. You'll see some of this in the other session. There's obviously a lot of information on City Theatrical's website and on our website about the specifics of this technology. But in general, the big thing about it that sort of got us on board was the fact that it handles data in a way that other protocols do not. And because of that, it's able to minimize the amount of data that it puts out into your venue. And when we start talking about all the different wireless systems that you might have in your venue, being able to keep the bandwidth to a minimum for any protocol is going to make it a much more usable technology in your theater or venue. And it also, because of that, allows for some specification points that no other protocol can match, and that includes up to 10 universes of wireless DMX RDM, so bidirectional DMX RDM off of a single base station. That's far beyond what anything else can do, and what it means is that as systems begin to grow exponentially over time, as you add more and more intelligent fixtures and with larger footprints, you're able to grow your system with your wireless included without having to add a lot of hardware and more base stations and things like that. And so it makes it a really valuable technology to be included in these fixtures as standard. I'm going to now stop sharing and we're going to come back to the studio. Hopefully you can all see me now. And we're going to take a quick look at the hardware that we were talking about. I've got a little GoPro camera here that I'm going to switch to so we can get a closer look at the Series 3. First of all, you're going to notice on the back of it a brand new user interface. We've done a lot of work to develop a user interface, and not only just in the software, but also in the tactile interface and the encoders, so that customers can very quickly and easily walk up to the back of the fixture, adjust settings, make adjustments at the fixture, whether they are using a DMX console or not, even if they've never used this before, to be able to walk up very quickly. We'll take a really quick look at that software here in just a moment. We've also added a lock switch to lock that user interface out. So once you've got the settings where you want them, if you don't want to accidentally bump one of the encoders and change those settings, you can put the lock switch on, which is a nice feature, makes it much more easily locked. We used to do it before by pressing and holding buttons for 3 to 5 seconds and then making your change and do it again to lock. And that can be sort of slow and cumbersome as you have lots of fixtures to do that with. USB port for software updates, configuration, sharing, storing and sharing across fixtures. I mentioned the multiverse protocol that is right here with the antenna. This folds underneath, as you can see. But if you want, you can also remove this and ship it with it on this yoke mounted antenna holder to protect there if you would like. We have NFC tag down here. We'll talk about what that is here in just a moment, but when we are talking about it, just know that that's where that is located. Another feature that we've done for this product is to move the connectors to the top. So both the XLR 5-pin in and through for DMX, as well as the True One TOP connectors for in and through power on the top, allow you to run these cables up to the pipe. Obviously, these are most frequently underhung from an electric, a grid, and so those cables are going to want to go up and tie up to the pipe. This keeps them out of the way of the user interface, so you don't have swags of cable going across the back. It just makes for a nicer, cleaner installation. As we come around to the side here, you will see the profile of it. In general, I think this is a great looking fixture. I think the team did a really nice job. There's a lot of people involved in all aspects of this fixture, but the industrial design of it, I think, is really nice. It looks sturdy, it looks professional, it looks powerful, and it is all of those things. As we move up to the front now, you can see this is the new XDLT barrel. A lot of considerations were taken in the design of this. Obviously, you can see the big thing is that it has gotten to the same diameter as the fixture body, so it doesn't taper down into a smaller diameter. That was done to get more light out, but we've also done a number of features to help with light leak. We've made the shutter blades significantly thinner so that they move really nice and easily. We've sandwiched the shutter blades with a material to prevent light leak so that you don't get as much light spilling out the sides. And we've boxed in the front with these great new labels, color-coded and symbols coded labels for each lens tube so you can easily identify which lens is on the front, and that includes a nice latching accessory slot on the top of it. And what that gives you at the end is, I'm going to turn the lights down here, a fixture that is almost completely blocked from light leak. You have a tiny little bits around the shutter, which is unavoidable, but for the most part, that fixture, which I've now turned on, the light's coming out only really where you want it to, and that's out the front of the fixture. Now, because of some of these features that I mentioned, the material around the shutter blades, the thinner shutter blades, that does mean that XDLT is intended for LED fixtures only. So you should not be using XDLT barrels and lens tubes on incandescent fixtures. The heat will damage some of the materials of the barrel. So these are for LED fixtures only, just as a heads up. Double clutched yoke so that you can lock it very securely. We have these great new handles that we first used on the Phos4 line that can get you really nice tight lock down of the fixture so it stays right where you want it to, but you can pull out the handle and move it around without loosening or tightening just to get the handle where you want. They have that sort of ratcheting feature. Let's move over really quickly to the Desire Fresnel, the companion fixture that we are introducing along with this. Again, this is going back to what I said, the theme of Phos4. If you saw last year, we launched a 7-inch Phos4 Fresnel. We were in development of that fixture around the same time we were having conversations about Desire and how great a fixture it was, but how it was getting a little long in the tooth and could use a refresh in technology and in array. And we were falling in love with the Phos4 Fresnel, and what we were seeing coming out of the lab was just this beautiful Fresnel, and it made us start to think that the Fresnel, which used to be a workhorse fixture in the theater and has been replaced over the years with PARs and other fixtures of that nature, that maybe it was time for a renaissance of a Fresnel fixture in live entertainment. There's a lot of great things about Fresnels, and we knew that if we could take that Phos4 Fresnel, remove some of the cost of it to get it down into the price range of a D60, it would be a much better value because of all the features that Fresnels have. So we made a couple of changes to it. We removed the battery input. The Phos4 Fresnel has a DC battery input that allows you to run it off of camera batteries and things like that. Not really needed in live entertainment as much, so we removed that. That saved us a good amount of money. We simplified the manufacturing process of this by only offering it in a single array. So again, just to be clear, the Desire Fresnel is available only in the Lustr X8 Array. If you want the cool white daylight HDR array, you would want to look at the Phos4 Fresnel for that. But don't don't be mistaken, the Lustr X8 will get you a full color temperature range of beautiful white light as well, just maybe not quite as bright as the daylight array would be. And then we put a less expensive power supply, not lower quality, just a smaller power rated power supply in this that saves us some money. That does mean the Desire Fresnel is about 80% the brightness of the Phosphor Fresnel, but it is still about 5,900 lumens on the wall, which is about 50% brighter than a D60. And still has all of these other great features. So what we've been able to do by making these changes is get this fixture down to the same rough price point as a D60, but with the new Lustr X8 Array, built-in wireless, new user interface, NFC, while also having it be a Fresnel, which means it's got a 13 to 55 degrees zoom range that can be adjusted from the back or from the front. So regardless of where it's hung, you're going to be able to access that zoom. It's got this beautiful 7-inch glass Fresnel that gives you a fully homogenized front optic, so you don't have lots of little dots of different colors all over the front the way you did with the Desire series and with a lot of other wash lights. You have just a solid filled up glass Fresnel optic, which is just gorgeous, not only on the wall, but when you look at the fixture itself, which shouldn't matter, but we all know that it does. We have 2 accessory slots, which are accessible again from the top or the bottom. So you have access to this fixture regardless of where you are using it. So in general, just a really great fixture that we think is going to become the favorite of a lot of lighting designers because of its versatility, its power, its brightness, and the beautiful quality of light that comes out the front of it. As we look at the software, I won't spend too much time on this because there is lots of information available on this. But in general, the design of the software was to, first of all, take advantage of the RGB backlit encoders. These change colors as we are changing screens so that the color represents what's happening on the screen, and you can very quickly and easily understand what it takes to adjust it by just matching up the colors. There's a number of different modes, including a studio mode, which gives you variable color temperatures of white and allows you to do those adjustments very quickly. We have a color mixing mode, which gives you a couple of different ways, either using HSI to adjust colors, as you can see, using this sort of crosshairs on this color screen, or this is new for this product, and we will see it in the Phosphor eventually as well, is an XY coordinate using the CIE color space to adjust color and move around very quickly and easily. Again, any of these changes, if I want to store the changes I've made, I can just press and hold the encoder. You can see it says 3, 2, 1, and it snapshots that preset to that location, so I can very quickly jump back and forth between different colors just by pressing the encoders. There's also a simple effects engine. In the Phosphor line, there's a whole series of effects that can be done, whether it's paparazzi or party lights or lightning flashes, all sorts of different effects. In the Series 3 and Desire Fresnel, it's just a sequencer, so it allows you to do color chases. And then we also have a preset mode that allows you to just play back presets with nice fade times and all of that. So that's the software. It's, like I said, it's very intuitive. The learning curve is very quick on that. But we also have added some technologies to help the configuration remotely. So if you're not at the fixture, let me get this turned here so we can see it a little bit better. There we go. And I'm going to turn on my phone. So hopefully you are about to see. Sometimes we have to remind it it's plugged in. Give me half a second. There we go. One of the things about City Theatrical's hardware that we really liked was that it has Bluetooth in the transmitter base station. And so that allows you to connect via a mobile device to the base station to do configuration. And we created an app called Setlight, which I have right here. And this is a free app available on iOS or Android. When I open Setlight, it's going to give me the option, the ability to to connect to a base station and configure my fixtures from my remote device. But if you don't have the base station, this is where the NFC comes in. And NFC, if you're not aware, it stands for near field communication. It's built into almost all mobile devices at this point. It's used for Apple Pay or Samsung Pay, Google Wallet, all of those contactless data transfers that mobile devices are able to do these days. And by using NFC and the same Satellite app, I can select the NFC portion of it and do a set address, set preset, pull configuration, or reset configuration. In this case, I'm just going to do pull configuration. And as I just tap my phone on the back of the fixture, I get a confirmation that I've now pulled the config off of the fixture. And I can do whatever configuration I want. I can change the name, set the address, change the mode, data loss behavior, multiverse settings. I will just change my backlight timeout to 1 minute. Tell it to push that configuration. Again, just tap my phone on the back. Split second later, I now have NFC received coming up in just a second right there on the screen, and that configuration has been pushed. This is an incredibly useful tool. A lot of times you get an app, you get something, you want to download the new app and try it out, and oh, look, my phone works with my whatever device, my toaster. But you don't really use it that often. You put your phone back in your pocket, and it's not a feature that's often utilized. That has not been the case for this here at ETC. Our employees, a lot of times they don't even use the user interface. As great as the user interface is, it's such a great, quick, satisfying experience to use your phone. We are very obviously conditioned to working on our phones all the time, and so to have this nice user interface that you can just very quickly make all the changes you want on a single screen, just hit the push button, and I'm going to send it back to never timing out. But I'm going to do a little trick here with this, which is another aspect that's really nice about this NFC technology. I've now unplugged the fixture. I'm going to do this without power even applied. So I'm going to tell it to push. I'm going to tap the back of the fixture. I get my phone telling me that that has been pushed. And now when I plug the fixture back in, the first thing you'll see on the screen, NFC received, and it's pulled that configuration change. That is because the power draw needed to store data to that chip in the fixture is so low, it actually uses the power coming off of the wireless signal from your phone to store that data. And then it is stored in the memory until the fixture is powered, and it pulls that configuration in. Really great tool for a rental shop, some place that has fixtures coming in and they want to do a reset default configuration, put their standard configuration on a fixture before it goes out. If you have a venue that's waiting on a generator to be commissioned and you just want to get all your addressing and naming and things like that done, you can actually say, I've got 8 fixtures of this type. I want them to start every 20 addresses. So 1, 21, 41. And just go down the line and tap your fixtures. And as soon as the system is energized, you're going to have those fixtures configured and ready to go. You don't even have to take them out of the case, theoretically, as long as you can just get to that part of the user interface with your phone. You're going to be able to do those configurations. And so it's a really great free tool for anybody that has these fixtures. And again, that is incorporated in all of the fixtures that we're talking about here today, including the Phosphor series of fixtures. So let's take a look now quickly at the fixtures on the wall, because at the end of the day, it should be about what we're lighting our stage with. I'm going to switch over here to our wall camera, and you can see the first thing you should notice. One of the things that we did we incorporated with these new XDLT lens tubes, not only the mechanical design and the brightness that we were talking about, but was a new color corrective lens in the 14, 19, 26, and 36 degree lens tubes. So the lens tubes that are most often used for pattern projection. By adding that color corrective lens, we've done a couple of things. First of all, we've added a significant amount of contrast to the fixture. In doing so, we've been able to basically make the darker sections darker and the lighter sections look lighter, which adds what appears to be more brightness. I'm dropping a pattern in here. You can see, let me get a sharper focus on that, which I've tightened down, of course. So you can get a really beautiful pattern projection, even in nice intricate patterns. You can run the barrel, again, no color separation, just nice soft focus. But the other thing that color corrective lens has done is to almost completely eliminate chromatic aberration, which is that blue halo that we're accustomed to seeing around ellipsoidals, around the edge of the beam and shutter cuts. So that you can see it, I don't know if you can see on the camera, I can tell you it's still there, very, very faintly around the edge, but normally it's this big bright blue border to the image, and this color corrective lens has helped to reduce and pretty much eliminate that as well. You put that in with the nice shutter cuts. I can very simply here, I'm going to put my presenter key in the lower corner so you can see as I'm working on this. Just really simple. I mean, I can just one finger, but they hold in position as well. These really silky smooth shutters now on this fixture. And again, because it's this X8 array, we can go to any color or color temperature we can imagine going to, all in a single fixture, no gelling. It's a beautiful and bright fixture. This is the Lustr X8 array. It tops out around 10,000 lumens on the wall, so it's incredibly bright, really great gains in brightness. The daylight HDR array on this can top out over 14,000 lumens on the wall. Again, those are not source lumens, those are on the wall lumens. Let's take a look at the Fresnel. I'm going to switch to the GoPro camera for this just because it's a little easier to show what we're doing here. First of all, I want to start by showing this front optic. Obviously, it's going to flare out quite a bit, but if I keep it at the right angle, you can see no color separation. There's just this gorgeous front optic that fills up with light as you go through the zoom range to get what you would just expect from a Fresnel, just a beautiful front optic. As I go through that zoom range, I'm about, let's say 20 feet from the wall here. So if I'm in full flood, you can see I'm basically lighting up that whole half of the studio. If I zoom in now, I'm going to bring that spot down to a nice spot on the wall with this really great soft edges that you can see there, just like a Fresnel spot would want to look like. And another key attribute to a Fresnel is how the shadows work, right? The shadowing and therefore the barn dooring is a really important aspect of that. So you can see if I put my hand right in front, I mean, I'm right in front of this optic, which is a really tough situation for additive color mixing for multi-source fixtures like this one. I've got a single shadow of my hand, really soft edged shadow, but one hand on the wall, no color separation, just gorgeous shadowing as you would expect. And I'm just inches in front of the optic at this point. If I switch now back to the other camera so I can walk out there, you'll see the shadow doing exactly what you would expect it to do. I'm now obviously a couple inches right in front. As I walk out in front here, you'll see that that shadow just tightens up. I still have no color fringing, and I get to the point where it's just really sharp edged shadow because I'm now farther away from the source, but still this beautiful beam of light that's nice and even and spread out. Now, if I put a barn door in the fixture, which it's obviously designed to work with, a Fresnel is only really as good as it barn doors, and open up the leaves here, you're going to see a very similar sort of thing. I'm going to be able to run this barn door in and get this beautiful edge to it. Now barn dooring for a Fresnel can be sort of subjective. Different designers like different types of edging, but for me, this does exactly what you want. It's the perfect balance between this, you get this bright hot spot, you get a slow fall off. That last 10 or 15% of the beam in here starts to be a little more dramatic, but it's still super subtle and soft edging. And then you get that clean, hard line of the barn door right here at the edge so that you can control where the light spills. It's just this great combination that allows you to have this gorgeous wash light with this beautiful beam of light, but be able to control where that light goes through simple accessories like barn doors. And it's one of the things that I like the most about this fixture is just how it performs with the beam control using the barn door. So that's and again, I should say again, Lustr X8. So you can do anything you want with the color here. You have all of that power at the touch of a touch screen or an encoder to run this light to anything you'd like it to do. So that's a really quick overview. I'm going to come back here. These fixtures, I can tell you as of today, which is, I should make sure I get the date right here. This is the 7th of April. We have launched the Series 3 and the Desire Fresnel. We are shipping the Series 3. Both engines are shipping now. The 5 and 10 degree lens tubes, our XDLT lens tubes, are shipping now as well. The other lens tubes will be coming out over the next couple of months as we get parts coming in to be able to make those. So we will have those all by summer available. The Desire Fresnel will be shipping in May of 2021. We have not released it yet, even though we have launched it, but we will begin shipments for that in May. Like I said, there's a lot of resources for this on our website and other places, and as well as being able to do a more in-depth demo like this one in this space with myself or somebody else here at ETC to be able to give a walkthrough to you and your customers or your venue. We can book those on our website, which our website's etcconnect.com. And then there's links to be able to book live demos on our website. So you can join me here in the studio and we can do this again. If there's any questions you would specifically like answered or any things that we didn't go over today that you'd like to see. And then obviously we're happy to try to get demo units out and hopefully someday soon we'll be able to see you and do some of these things in person as well.
Well, Jim, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks to ETC for putting this together. We will have the link to book a virtual demo in the description below. And if you have any questions, comment them here. You can email Barbizon, you can email ETC, email whoever, and we will get something to you right away. So thank you again so much for watching. We do videos like this all the time. We put stuff out, demos with manufacturers, in-depth technical stuff. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see more as they come out. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Appreciate it.